What's up, guys? It's LOH and Low Tech. I'm doing a quick exclusive on some software. This is Rogue Squadron, a fan-made Star Wars game circa 1997 for Windows 95, pretty much for any Windows 16-bit operating system. There aren't many of those out there still. It doesn't really work well in Windows 64-bit, so this is running in VirtualBox, and you can see it's by Joseph Kwong, but this is a click and play title, so it was made using game making software from back in the day. It's really designed for Windows 95 for 16-bit color, which is why all the colors are kind of all messed up, as well as there you can kind of notice there's no real sound coming out of it. It does have some sounds coming out of Windows 3.1. Obviously the Star Wars music is kind of copyright, so I can't really include that here, but it doesn't play everything, and a lot of that has to do with the issues with Windows 3.1, which is the only thing we really have running inside of VirtualBox. So taking a look at the game, you can kind of see it's very Asteroids-like. There's probably a better comparison out there than Asteroids, but you play as one ship. There is a group of up to 4 other ships with you, and you take on wave after wave of Imperial fighters. The fighters get harder over time, but in the beginning you're just fighting TIE fighters. You can kind of see here there is an error message. This is from the audio. It doesn't actually play well Windows 4.1. But from here you actually get to buy and sell your ships. So there are 4 types: X-Wing, Y-Wing, A-Wing, B-Wing. B-Wing is the most expensive, Y-Wing is the cheapest. They all have their strengths and weaknesses, except for the Y-Wing. It's really just weaknesses other than the price. But you can buy up to 9 of each, and you get to deploy your fleet among all the different sectors that you occupy. So if you have 3 ships, you get to put 1 in each, or you can put 3 in 1, and that's the way you go. I have 4, I put 4 in the same one, mainly because whatever you have in that sector is what you're going to use to fight in the next battle. So I had 4 X-Wings in that one sector, I have 4 in this battle here. The red line on the left is your health, the blue line on top is your shields, the green line on the bottom is your laser energy, and then there's torpedo count. The A-Wing has heat-sinking missiles, all the other ones just have torpedoes. Torpedoes just shoot straight, but they probably do a little more damage. I'm not exactly sure what the number is between both of them. Your green line will deplete over time, but in the beginning stages you probably won't have to worry about it. It's actually more of an issue with the B-Wing, when we'll get to in just a bit. We're going to go through and buy each of the different ships that are available and kind of show them to you. A-Wing is the fastest. It has the heat-sinking missiles. It's probably my favorite ship out of all of them, just because it's the most fun to play, because it is most responsive, as well as it's the smallest, so you're less likely to get shot. But it does have the lowest amount of armor, so there's that. Most levels are going to play out very much the same. There are a number of ships that you start with. There are a number of ships that you fight. The later levels, you'll fight more than one wave of ship. And then you also get different types of ships in the future. Right in the beginning, you're playing just against the TIE fighters, but there are TIE interceptors as well as TIE bombers. The TIE bombers also have heat-seeking missiles, so there's that to deal with. So you can see in this level, you do have a second wave coming up. You kind of just fly around waiting for the new wave to come out. And then when they do, they all appear. Your ship is the one that is the most 3D looking. I'm not sure why they have different models for all the different ones, but at least it makes it kind of easier to stand out. Like I mentioned earlier, the colors in this game are all messed up when you're playing on Windows 3.1, so your ship looks like a gray blob, but normally it wouldn't. Your ship is the only one that can't immediately do 180-degree turns. At least I haven't found the button to do that, so you do have to turn pretty slowly in comparison to all the other ships. But for the most part, it's fine. Sometimes it is easier to go across the screen and pretty much do a U-turn that way, and turn instead of actually trying to turn your ship around in order to follow a ship. Just because all the other ships can turn a dime if they want to. They can go any direction they want, and yours can't. Speeding up the game so you don't have to see the same fights over and over again. Pretty much the later you go into the game, you can buy up to 9 of each ship. So there are, 45 or so that you can actually buy, and you can displace across the grid. Depending on what you have, you're going to want to protect every square ideally, but you can't. So take a look at the B-Wing here. You can see the B-Wing shoots the fastest in terms of lasers. You can see the green bar just gets annihilated whenever I press the fire button. But at the same time, you get to annihilate your enemies with lasers, which is always satisfying. Although it is limited to torpedoes instead of the missiles that you get in other ones. There are a number of scenarios that do appear. In this case, we're protecting these 3 different ships from the TIE interceptors. They were trying to capture them, so we have to destroy them pretty much in a certain amount of time. Able to do so, you get extra money for completing those, but if you do lose ships in battle, then you do have to buy them again. As you progress, you're going to want to kind of diversify your ships a little bit just to kind of get best of both worlds. So this one I have an A-Wing as well as a B-Wing and some X-Wings, all depending on what kind of style you actually like playing. I always like playing the A-Wing, so I pretty much always make sure there's at least one A-Wing there for me to play. You can see here also the TIE interceptors that are coming in. Pretty much they do the exact same thing as the TIE fighters, just they shoot a little faster and they have a little more armor than the regular TIE fighters. So going through, you buy some more stuff, you try to build as you go, very, very similar to what we'd be doing all around before. So at any time during the game, when you're actually deploying your troops, you actually can get attacked at any edge piece, I think, all the way around. So looking here, I put all my troops on the front 3 pieces, and I was attacked way in the back. That back piece makes me lose all of that row underneath, so I have to go back and recapture everything. So it does kind of set you back if you don't have at least one ship to try to fight them off, although one ship wouldn't really fight them off anyways because you'd get annihilated. So there is some strategy in putting out your ships all the way across. The later missions, you're going to see a lot more of the stronger ships as well as more and more waves. So eventually you're going to start losing ships. If you lose your own ship, you actually can still win the battle if you get destroyed and your teammates still win. So that is still possible, and it does happen. More likely, though, your teammates are all going to get destroyed, and then eventually you're going to get destroyed too, just because the game gets hard and you can't defeat 12 ships, no matter what your skill is, just because it's not so much a game of skill as a pilot as one, because one-on-one you can kind of shoot them around. You can use the heat-sinking missiles to shoot all these, but since they can all turn on a dime and fire at you, and they also have heat-sinking missiles that you can't really dodge, or at least not for long, eventually you'll die if you're by yourself. You can kind of see the ship here. That's the TIE bomber. That's the one that actually does shoot heat-sinking missiles. It's not shooting any right now, but one of those would not necessarily kill you, but it does take a huge chunk of your health, especially if you have no shields available to fight it off. But that is the basic gameplay of Rogue Squadron for Windows. So this is a 16-bit application, means you can't run this in something like Windows 10 unless you have the 32-bit version, which why would you? So you need to run it inside a virtual machine or running it in something like DOSBox, but still emulating a virtual machine because it doesn't run in DOS. This is a Windows application. Thanks for watching, guys. This is LH with Low Tech, and this has been an exclusive look at Rogue Squadron for Windows PCs. This is not the type of video that we normally do, so if you do like seeing content like this, please like and leave a comment below, and don't forget to share this video with your friends. Subscribe.